All right, guys, so the last thing that I want to look at before we start to build out more of the hook and drop section with some other instruments and leads and that sort of stuff is getting a proper sub bass in. So what I've done is I've moved the bass that we've been messing around with up a little bit higher in the track, so it's kind of up in the kick region because we're going to be comparing that to the kick in this video. So this has been the bass that we've heard the whole tutorial course. And I like this bass, and I don't want to stop using it, but I want to get a proper sub in there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all the frequencies from about, we'll do about 140 down. Now sub frequencies are technically just from 20 to about 70 hertz. Some people will say 65. I like to think of about 20 to 70, 75 hertz. So this is taking out more than just the sub frequency. I'll actually do 130. Now, anytime you want to get real surgical with your roll-offs, you want to use a higher decibel per octave range in your equalizer. So right here you can see that it says 130 hertz. That's what we're cutting at. And I'm using a 48 decibel per octave. If you do 6 or 12 or even 24, it's much less of a cut. Well, I want to make sure that I'm reducing almost all of those frequencies. Now, some EQs allow you to go up even past 48 decibels per octave, which is just a straight cutoff. I think 64 is the highest I've ever seen, but most of them will do 6, 12, 36, 6, 12, 24, 36, and 48. So now we're cutting out the really lows of this bass. But there's still some low there, right? Let's turn this off. Okay, so the low frequency is going to be occupied, the sub frequency is going to be occupied by our actual sub. Okay, so I have a sub bass pulled up, and it's from my Kontakt library called Sub-Zero 808, and it's just a clean sub sound. Sounds like this. Let's turn the glide off for this. Right, it's just a big, clean sub. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste this bass down. Okay, let's see if we like another preset with a little bit more. I like the first one the most thus far, so we'll just roll with that. Now what we're going to have to do, we're going to have a bunch of conflicting information here because the bass, the sub, the kick, they're all going to be centered. If we play these and solo them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the high frequency from the sub bass, just in case there's any highs. I'm going to take out anything from about around 30 hertz and under because that's just a little bit muddy. Okay, now we're going to load up a really cool plugin that is free, and this will help tame the sub bass. So what we're going to do, I have a free folder here. It's called the A1 Stereo Control. I think it's made by a dude named Alex Hilton. Yeah, there it is. Now this is a completely free plugin, guys, and it's freaking cool. So there's this safe bass thing. So this sub bass is in stereo. Now bass frequencies do a little bit better and they have a little bit more punch and power in mono, but like this is a Kontakt instrument, so I can't do it in mono. Well, what safe bass will do is it will make anything under this frequency range, it'll keep in mono. So let's go to our equalizer that we used on the other bass, that synth bass that's coming from Massive. We're cutting at 130 hertz. So let's safe bass anything under and keep it mono, 130 hertz and under for the sub bass, because that's where we cleared out room in the bass. Now we're also going to throw that on. We're going to just hit X on my mixer, and we're going to copy and paste that over because I want that on the Massive bass as well. So now we're going to clean up some of this and keep it more mono-centric. Now there's two ways to really handle a sub bass in a future bass track. You can follow your bass progression, your chord progression, or you can have it follow your kick. I'm tempted to mess around with this and see if I want it to follow the kick. It might be a little bit cleaner. So let's try that now. So we're going to copy and paste an instance of it down. And what I'm going to do is I have the kick right here. So I'm literally just going to have it follow the kick. Now I have, since that video, I believe I've cleaned up the kick progression in the drop to fit Luna's vocals a little bit more. So we have a much less of a full progression here with the kick, or full actual pattern. So let's delete that one. So now this is more of an extension of the kick. Let's try that. I think that sounds a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna have to hear it a little bit more, but let's go back to this. Let's bring back in some of the lows. Let's get that last little part right. All right, there's one more kick right here that I want to hit with the sub. So let's draw that back. Okay, that sounds cool. I think that fits a little bit better than just having it follow that bass progression. So now essentially what's happening is the kick and the sub are kind of one instrument being blended together. Okay. Now what I want to do, I don't want to do sidechain compression with this because it is just following the kick. So what I'm going to do first is make all these the same velocity. So I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard and we're going to select V for the velocity tool. Little hack for Logic users out there. If you hold down Option and Shift and click, it'll make all of them the same color and you can make them the same velocity real quick. Anyway, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight these. I'm going to go up to my grid setting at the top, my division setting, and we're going to go to 96. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to offset all of these notes except the last one because it's not on a kick. We're going to offset it by a 96th note. Now what this will do is it'll essentially just move it out of the way of the initial part of the kick. And it will move it out of the initial part of the bass in some instances. All right, so that sounds pretty cool. It's going to need a little bit more mixing help, but what we have here is we have some instruments that are coexisting quite nicely, seeing how I haven't cut anything on the kick yet. I'm going to do that right now. So let's go to the kick, and we are going to do a 48 decibel per octave cut, and we'll cut everything from about 35 down. I'm leaving a little bit more room, 36 down, a little bit more room for the sub. Okay. All right, guys, so that's going to sum up the sub part of this course. We now have a sub bass. I'm going to move these two tracks down to the bass area of the track that I'm used to seeing. So there it is. Now we're going to move into the next video. We're going to be filling out the drop a little bit more. I'll see you guys there.
If you like this course, why not head over to sonicacademy.com, where we have hundreds of complete track builds in every genre imaginable, including all the project files and samples. You'll also find tutorials on plugins and synths, mixing and mastering, over 250 tech tips, artist interviews, along with our award-winning plugins, samples and preset packs.